Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I welcome you all to Kaleidoscope session that is brought to you by And Academy. I am Shubhangi and I'm part of the branding and communications team here at And. And today I'm joined by Asha Kumari, who's a social media strategist and an educator, and by the head of academics here at And, Prachi Mittal. Before we dive right into the presentation that Asha has made for us today, I would like to begin by sharing a little bit about what and is and where do we come from and what is it that we do and why do we do it. And is actually the brainchild of Dr. Jatin Chadha, who's also the CEO and founder of Indian Institute of Art and Design. So, and actually builds from the design pedigree of IIAD, and it sort of was conceptualized during the COVID years, and when the team at IID was figuring out ways how to deliver design education online, and they figured out the perfect model to do it. Through that iterative process of figuring out how to deliver design education online, and was brought about. Here at And, we actually offer courses in the domains of graphic design, UX/UI design, and interior design, which is certificate diploma and PG diploma. Some of our courses also have a job guarantee inbuilt in them. So those of you who have enrolled here at And already know about the courses and the kind of courses that we offer, but who are new to And, I would just like to bring them up to speed about the courses that we offer here at And. And That's all about And that I'll speak about. But today, this session is led by Asha. So I would like to introduce Asha. Asha is a seasoned communication professional and content strategist with over 16 years of experience in the Indian fashion and e-commerce industries. Currently serving as the Senior Manager of Branding and Communications at Indian Institute of Art and Design, she helps shape the Institute's brand narrative and marketing strategy. A fashion communication graduate from National Institute of Fashion Technology, Delhi, Asha began her career as a fashion journalist, contributing to renowned magazines such as Femina, Business of Fashion, and Sportswear International India. With a profound appreciation for India's rich craft heritage, Asha has actively worked to highlight the role of traditional crafts techniques in Indian design. In her role at IIAD, Asha has made significant contributions to the Institute's social media strategy and digital presence. She spearheaded initiatives to enhance organic follower growth and engagement across IID's social media platforms, with a primary focus on Instagram. Under her guidance, the IID Instagram page has experienced remarkable growth, becoming a vibrant hub for creative content and community engagement. With that, I invite Asha to take over.
Thank you, Shubhangi. Thank you for saying so many things. Okay. So, as we start today's session, let me just give you a brief overview of what all we are covering, because social media as a subject, as a platform, is something that we are constantly discussing. There are many perspectives to look at social media. You may be looking at something like an influencer brand, or you may be looking at as a consumer, you may be looking at from the design perspective, but then it becomes a never-ending conversation. So what we are going to talk about primarily here today is today's session would deal social media approached by we are looking through a lens of a communication person. So crafting communications, whether they are verbal or visual, and both of them put together. Plus what we're gonna look at it is a brand's presence on social media. So I'm not denying the fact that influencers have done phenomenal work, and influencers or individual creators, content creators, if we would they would, as everyone likes to call themselves. They have done phenomenal work. Social media is their playground. But today, what we're talking about are how brands can enhance their presence, can use social media to their benefit. Let me just, yeah, additionally, we'll navigate through key concepts and buzzwords that dominate the social media, like storytelling, community building, value addition, or value generation. Of course, I'll be re-emphasizing these keywords throughout my presentation. Additionally, we'll also be talking about a little bit about the influencer marketing and of the influencer marketing bit or the viral content bit. It's also, I would like to, yeah, let's get started with this session. So here we start. Yeah, this is the first slide. Let's have a look at it.
नया घर, नई गाड़ी, नई मिशन, बढ़िया है? हैं? वाह सुनील बाबू, नई और नई, बढ़िया है। सुनील बाबू, मिसेज सुनील बाबू, नो सुनील बाबू, बढ़िया है।
Asian Paints Exterior Emulsion, time-proof beauty.
So here what we're looking at is an advertisement from a pre-social media era. So it must be late 90s or the early 2000s. I mean, there were multiple Asian Paints ads, and this is something that Asian Paints plastered themselves in the middle and upper middle class segment. I mean, it was because of the reach of television and way it interacted. Asian Paints was the go-to paint for everyone. They might have a luxury segment, they might have an everyday segment. But let us also now the next slide shows what Asian Paints as a brand is doing now. This is a video from their YouTube channel.
Hi guys, this is Janvi Kapoor and you're watching me on Asian Paints Where the Heart Is. Welcome to my home. A home actually isn't just the four walls that you buy or the sofa that you put in or color of the walls, but I think it's what you make of it. It's the choices, it's the love that you bring into it, it's the feeling, it's in the memories that you create in your house. Each fabric and each color means something beyond just, oh, this will look good here. In my room, I felt like I needed a lot of peace, a soothing energy. Therefore, I chose those colors. Maybe 5 years down the line, I'll be ready for a little more chaos, a little more adventure. And then maybe my room will reflect that. And like I said, a house is what you make of it. It is your responsibility to infuse it with memories, with love, with joy. So like these plates, Dad bought this in Dubai.
So Bangi, we can pause.
Kind of felt like the face.
This is just to give you an idea of
Hi guys, this is Janvi.
Yeah, how the communication has evolved. When we were directly saying Asian Paints, Naya Ghar, jingles, ad copies, and now what you're doing, they're not. Janvi Kapoor, yes, she says Asian Paints Where the Heart Is, but she does not saying that she's used Asian Paints or anything. She's just taking us through the house, taking her through her house, her choices. It need not always talk about the color, though she's saying about the color, but it not be just the paints, every cushion, every planter that she's kept. It is just a walkthrough of the home, like your AD walkthroughs of celebrity homes. Asian Paints throughout the years, this is one of their campaigns or one of their major content on their YouTube channel, and they have sort of established themselves for doing home tours. The celebrity, bigger celebrities, smaller celebrities, artists, architects, and you have a lot of them, and that's how they've still kept themselves relevant. maybe a lot of you would not have seen the 90s Asian Paints ad, but you still know what Asian Paints is, and more or less, it still managed itself to be a part of conversations. Now we can look at a Lakme ad from the 90s. I am very sure that you would not have seen this ad.
Talking with her eyes, walking like a winner, she'll take you by surprise. She's got the look, she's got the look. Nothing of the job, doing what she wants to, she's telling me a while. Changes like a color. She's got the look, she's everything I ever want. Nothing else will do. She's got the look.
So at its time, this was one of the most ahead of its time ad. It had the best music, it had the supermodel in it, and you have these color paints running, dripping down here and there on the nail paints, and it really set that mood. Lakme was an aspirational brand. I mean, people would actually save up money to buy a Lakme nail polish. But where does it stand today? Has Lakme been able to evolve with the times? It's something that we'll have a look at in the next slide. Is there something? Yeah. So we can go to Lakme's YouTube channel. So they are still doing those ads. To a certain extent, they have been trying. So I was when I was looking through their page, their shorts section tries a bit of makeup tutorials and a bit of here and there. But if you look at the YouTube page, the communication, the visuals, everything is monotonous, addish, a little less relatable. Though the celebrity faces are still there, but somehow it has lost its connects with the youth that was there. On the other hand, there are these numerous, I mean, there are these Revlon India also, for example, though the Revlon International still has a high following, but for a brand of a stature like Revlon, I think it has around, Shubhangi, can we go back, go up a little? I think it has on Revlon's page, I think it is around 36K. And if you look at their posts, their videos are extremely high quality, extremely high budget shots, high budget videos. But what we're looking at is the story, the narrative, the authenticity of it. Whereas now let us go to Sugar Cosmetics, which is one of your new age brands. YouTube page. You have a lot of people, a lot of influencers doing their makeup. So Shubhangi, we can also have I think there is the Instagram page for Sugar as well. Yes. So Sugar has 2.9 million followers, and they do just basic 5 seconds, 10 seconds or 15 second reel about maybe just an eye, what is your nighttime routine. So they are their social media presence has a lot of information, makeup information, yes, but a lot of information. But if you look at and if you look at the videos, sometimes they are well lit in a studio space, but most of the time there'll be someone doing their makeup at home, someone doing their makeup maybe while in office, or not extremely curated, not extremely high budgets. So both these examples, what it is trying to bring forth is the way of communication has changed. And as brands, we need to realize what has that shift. It's a paradigm shift that has happened. And we need to realize the faster we evolve, the better presence we'll be able to make. And so I'm just reading out a bit of The social media has revolutionized communication, allowing people to connect instantly across globe. It instantly you reach out to a social media handle, you DM them, they need to get back to you. Everyone's connecting to each other. Social media is a thriving community. You need to reach out to people that you like. It's like just you walk in, you like someone's sari, you go there, move forward and compliment them. Similarly with your social media space, if you have a story to tell, please, and authentic stories, you don't need to flash it up, you don't need to you don't need to over budget everything. You need a story, you need the narrative. It has to be honest from the brand's perspective. It is easier for influencers, but it gets a little tricky for brands. We can move up to the next slide. Okay. Yes. So social media's essence, the core essence of it is to create, share, talk about it, reshare. It is a consumer's playground. It is. There is no denying the fact that it is a consumer's playground. And brands, whenever brands come into a social media platform, they are borrowing this space from them. So we, as brands, we need to, it's an absolute long gone are those days when you could post an ad. I can have this cup shot in the most studio settings with my white box and number of things, and maybe if I want to do some absolutely concept shoots with coffee oozing out of it, but that will be maybe for some other platform. But when I'm coming on social media, I need to tell the story of it, maybe how I shot that particular shot. Those are the stories that people want to know. If the shot, how it was shot, or who made this cup, if I'm able to get that story across. So the entire thinking of how you communicate has changed. It is all about, again and again, communication, connectivity, and community. We are together in it. You need to find your community. You need to resonate with them. Storytelling, how good a storyteller you are, that makes or breaks a brand. Storytelling, experience sharing, value generation. We'll again re-emphasize the value generation. So you'll have a lot of information sharing. Brands do extremely well on social media, whether they're sharing information like makeup and beauty routines, or founders and CEO talking about their business models. So you will have a Piyush Bansal from Lenskart having a way big fan following, or a followers on their social media platform, which also translates to their brands. Similarly, influencers, again, influencers for brands, I have always felt it is something that you need to really put thought into it. So influencers may or may not be directly as per your brand image or as you picture it, but they have to have some ethos that match with you. They have to be a part of your bigger community. The numbers, just because someone has 1 million followers does not make them a good influencer for my brand. It has to be customized. It has to be you need to understand, appreciate their work. They need to understand and appreciate your work authentically. So the numbers, okay, followers, and let's get this person, or a list of influencer marketing that we're doing, and we take out a list of all the influencers who have a 90,000 following or 1 million followers, and get them on board. Doesn't work. Literally doesn't work. Viral content is something a lot of your agencies will promise that, okay, we create this, or you also get these tips and tricks. Okay, you do this and you do this and your content will go viral. And even, I mean, it doesn't. There's no magic formula. There is no what clicks. There is this shadi. I'm sure everyone would have been bombarded around that Anant Ambani wedding. There was another shadi from a small village boy who constantly kept making reels of having 90s Bollywood songs, and he streamed that entire shadi on social media, and he was just bombarding everyone's face. So you don't know what goes. I mean, the viral is a different component. Getting viral content is a different composition. And even if you are able to go viral, you also, as a brand, you need to question, okay, my one particular video has gone and made this given me 1 million views or something like that, but that million views coming and translating, so what have I put out, and when that person comes to my page, are they able to relate to both of them? It is a meme content, and when they land up on your page, it is a different world altogether. Trust me, that will not get you followers, that'll not translate to sales, that'll not translate to any engagement. So viral can happen, may happen, something you hit the chord, it works, very good. But even for that viral to happen, you need to set the stage ready. For someone who's seen your viral content, comes to your page, they should like what they see. They should enjoy and you should not take them by surprise. कि viral तो आपने कुछ और बनाया था, यहाँ आके तो भाई, this is not my vibe. I came to your page for certain things, but does not match my vibe. We'll just do brand building and design. This is more of a very small brief that we'll do at the end of the presentation. Brief, yeah. What brand building is, and what we as maybe social media managers or marketing strategist or communication strategist, what role do we play for a brand's brand building? Again, so communication connection, I think I've already said so much, and about the communication and connection, but still, here is, yeah, we go up to Suta's page. Suta, I think though I've said that we're talking about brands and brand perspectives and not going into influencer marketing and influencer brands. But Suta is an undeniable example. I keep talking about Suta every now and then. It is a brand and by the girls Sujata and Tanya, but it is the best example of how a sari brand in today's age can, I mean, it just started off with one small place, and the way it has grown, it matches a Nalli or any other big sari brand, and it is totally based upon these two girls' personality, their narration, their exploration with sari, their love for sari, their contextualizing, contemporarizing the sari and the drape. So, and the storytelling, the authenticity of their storytelling. They keep, Sujata has a different personality, Tanya has a different personality, and still they bring that personality together, and together they make a Suta personality. And the way they tell their stories, it's not, if you're able to go through their entire page, or you do a study of them, you'll realize that it is not that everything is just perfect or they've curated. So you'll have maybe Diwali pe they're doing this 5 or 6 posts, and for some other festival there are lesser number of posts. Sometimes they go bonkers with their holy post, and they're doing they're showcasing all the BTS, and sometimes it is more thematic, but yet every post that they do, it carries their personality, it carries their storytelling, and they have built a huge brand around it. This is a perfect example of a contemporary brand. Next, I would also like to talk about Nike. Nike has been a well-known brand, a big brand, which has existed before the social media era. And it has always resonated with people. And the way they have evolved now, their YouTube channel, if you look at them, they do, you'll have athlete voices, you'll have sportsmen talking about it. And it has a certain, it's built that visual. It is a brand image in itself. So like for example, if I say that Nike goes ahead and builds Nike goes ahead and makes a restaurant, their brand image is so strong, you can visualize how a Nike restaurant or Nike hotel will look like, because they have a brand identity, a strong brand position, a brand image. Whereas if I say maybe Hyatt, Hyatt hotels, they come up with a shoe brand, or they come up with a retail store. We don't know how that will look like, because they just are a logo and do not have a personality of its own, or do not have that brand positioning, a brand image. It's the personality is not there. And of course, YouTube. While we are constantly juggling between Instagram and YouTube, there is one more thing. Of course, we can go in detail, but I'll just plug it in over here. Instagram is instant gratification. But if you're looking at brand building, if you're looking at adding value, YouTube is the place. It, of course, is more intensive, time intensive, cost intensive, and a lot of people lose maybe patience with it, because it is not instant gratification. But YouTube is the biggest search engine that is growing to. It is soon going to surpass Google. It's already for a lot of search places. If you look for something, YouTube videos are the first thing that come out. A lot of people also do searches on YouTube straight away rather than going to Google. And it has a built-in search engine. It gives you the liberty of long format content as well as short format content. So your reels, if you want to just drum scroll reels, that can also happen. If you're looking at learning something, if you're looking at sharing an experience, any trip that I take, I look at that place's videos, all their videos, and every travelogue video from made about that place. So YouTube is a place to be, and soon we realize the better for every brand. I also wanted to say something else, but let's move on to the next. Oh yes, you know what? I've just plugged in at times a lot of these little tidbits. Can we play this video?
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de plus important? Là, votre écosystème agricole, et voilà. Les agriculteurs, un Français qui ne fait pas tous ses repas tous les jours. On va vous demander d'évacuer, s'il vous plaît.
Yeah. Okay. My entire idea of bringing this video to the conversation is, this is a few of the climate activists walked into the museum, and they tried to destroy the Mona Lisa and they have a very strong message. It's not about what I believe or what I not believe, but I just want to put two perspectives. So maybe for a brand that is eco-friendly, sustainable, we understand what is happening, right? So a brand that promotes sustainability, promotes circular fashion, circularity, talks about saving the planet, and they see something like this, and what will be their stand? And a brand, and maybe a brand that has that talks about, or their product or the service is more about the culture, history, traditions, conserving traditions, they will have a different take on it. And as a brand strategist, you need to identify what your brand has to say about it and how you craft it. So resonating with your brand's language, resonating with your brand's emotions is very important. Plus, addressing questions, addressing what is happening, and even taking the difficult questions head on is extremely, extremely important in crafting your communications, in crafting your stories, in crafting your personality. Because a personality without an opinion, without a voice is nothing. Then you're not a personality. And we are trying to build the personality of the brand. Okay, next. We can move to the next slide. Yes. Again, storytelling and experience sharing. Zomato is a brand that has just, I mean, captured. I on purpose chose their LinkedIn page. They have a LinkedIn following of 2 million followers. And it's a completely B2, I mean, LinkedIn is a B2B space. People just, I mean, there's a different vibe to it, but Zomato somehow has captured that because of the way they communicate. They are witty. They don't shy away from taking digs at themselves as well. It's a different language, different communication, but constantly they have remained sharp on those things. And being, I mean, most of it being bang on with things, being bang on with whatever they have to say, always coming up with something. Ha, khana, match haar gaye to biryani manga lo, match jeet gaye. This sort of messaging instantly. So somehow you buy from, or you order from Zomato, you don't order from Zomato, you can't escape Zomato. And you can't help not appreciating Zomato. And Zomato is a case study in itself. When if you try to look at LinkedIn as a platform, no one would have thought that a brand or a service provider like Zomato would have this sort of a following on LinkedIn. It's sheer brilliance and sheer storytelling, their sheer style of storytelling. They have more followers on LinkedIn than their Instagram page.
You know, Asha, sorry I'm interrupting, but I'm just wondering that if we do a sort of business analysis based on what you just shared, I won't be surprised if Zomato is preferred in office parties.
Probably.
You know, like I won't be surprised, because if what you're saying, LinkedIn is obviously it's a place for professionals to network, and you're in that zone. So I'm in a different zone when I'm on Insta, and I'm on a different zone when I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes, definitely.
I won't be surprised if that is.
Even I think so.
Yeah, if that is where
because professionals are on LinkedIn, and then you're constantly seeing this and sharing those quotes amongst each other. Boss is like dhania.
Yeah, I thought that was
I'm sure while ordering, probably Zomato is the first choice.
Yeah, maybe, because everybody has Zomato, Swiggy, I mean, whatever, like you'll have both. Maybe. So I won't be surprised that what are the business implications of what you have just shared, that it has more followers on LinkedIn than on
and it's a surprise. It's a very different nut to crack. It's a different, like I said, Insta is instant gratification.
Yeah,
but to crack and to work something on LinkedIn like this, and everyone's following, everyone's resharing those posts, because they are constantly relevant, constantly topical, always bang on.
Yeah, and the recall value will be tremendous.
Yes.
And so what, I mean, I have been taking notes of what I want to discuss with you after your presentation is over. But this time I thought I'll just interrupt you. And one of the things that I noted was that their content is so topical to the platform, and that is why I will not ignore a Zomato on LinkedIn, because when you're talking about bosses are like dhania, and then there was something else which was, so probably Zomato gained another follower today after the presentation. And then business lesson from Black Coffee. So
Yes,
they're keeping their content very, very relevant
very
to
topical.
not just the persona on LinkedIn, but also the mindset of the person, because it is the same me who is on different platforms,
Yes.
and I'm looking at different
Yet.
content on different platform.
Yes.
And I'm looking
This
for a
clearly,
Yes,
yes,
I pay attention
absolutely.
to even excellent entertainment on LinkedIn. Even if it is excellent entertainment, I won't look at it on LinkedIn. I'll end up ignoring it, but I'll probably consume it on Insta if I was on Insta.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for sharing this, but please continue with your presentation.
Thank you for interrupting. I think because of this, we are able to pinpoint why they are and what they are and how topical, being just on top of everything and just saying things straightforward has made all the difference. It's a case study in itself.
Yeah, and I want to, because I was checking also our attendee list, and there are loads of, I'm so glad that so many of our current students, and I see a couple of our alumni also in the list. I mean, just look at what you have on your screen right now. If you look at it from a graphic design point of view, it seems simple. It's a very simple composition, but it is following all the principles of the fundamentals of graphic design. It's all there, but what is it of value is the thought. But that thought has been communicated very simply, but while still following all, the type, the color, the principles of design, everything is in place. So because I see, Asha, a lot of times young professionals or aspiring professionals thinking कि कुछ अलग करना है, उस अलग करने में वो क्या अलग करना है, सोच भी अलग हो सकती है. It doesn't mean that I have to pick a very अलग font. And how long would this have taken on their software to create?
On the drawing board, yes.
On the drawing board, how long would it have taken to create? And if you know your fundamentals very well, you can create this in half an hour. This is a half an hour job.
Yes.
But to come up with this thought,
the concept, the thought,
and
plus also,
and sorry, just last a minute, delivering it bang on.
Yes. So the communication, this is what communication is, putting when the idea, the concept and the visual and the font, everything comes together to craft a perfect communication. Always say, we should not fall in love with our design. Always take a step back. Always take a step back. समझ में आ रहा है, पढ़ने में आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा. Where the eye is flowing.
Absolutely. So for all our students, I want to tell you that you can find many lessons of fundamentals of visual design in this. Now the temptation to put the dhania, the type dhania in green is very strong, right? But if the moment you had done that, it would interfere with readability and accessibility, because you get into a complementary color scheme, green on red, and in the digital space, it's a complete no-no. But they wanted to bring emphasis to it, and therefore, what have they done? They have just changed the tonal value of dhania so that you have that also on it. Your simple visual balance is there. Everything is there, right? So please don't ignore the fundamentals and don't fall into the trap of creating something different and jazzy for the sake of doing it. This is different, this is catchy, but in its thought, and that the simplicity of its execution, I think, makes it very effective. So once again, thank you, Asha, for bringing this. आज तो मैं मतलब ऐसे Zomato LinkedIn के ऊपर explore होने वाला है मेरा.
Zomato has even cracked their email marketing. It's brilliant. Zomato has occupied any and every platform. Even the email marketing is a case study in itself. People don't, I don't even open emails that are promotional, but Zomatos are so catchy.
And Zomato has been like this for a very long time, before the advent of Instagram and this. Advent in the sense before Instagram became this big, Zomato has always been this witty. So I'm sure they have a number of changes of their creative directors, and still the
They
brand image
Yeah.
is personality is so strong, it's remained like that. It has
Absolutely.
evolved a certain way with platforms, but it is there. It's the same person. It's not that if you're meeting them on Instagram, it's a different person what
Asha,
they were.
you have to do another session for us where you will just break down Zomato for us.
Okay.
And it will happen in, I know which module where it is going to happen. So I'm not naming it and all of that, but I know where it has to happen. You're going to break down Zomato's content and
Yes.
design strategy
Mm.
together, and obviously the two have to work together. This is also an answer, Asha, to people where I can tell you as a communication designer or as a design thinker myself,
Mm.
one of the things that I really struggle with is when people say, नहीं ये ऐसे ही होता है, ये यही बिकता है. You know, who would say कि, who would
Who
even
says?
think that Zomato should have presence on LinkedIn?
Yes, yes.
Who would what logic tells you that Zomato should have presence on LinkedIn? I understand Zomato's presence on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I understand. And okay, you can't ignore your popular social media, so you'll put something on LinkedIn also. But will I focus my resources on creating content that is specific for LinkedIn? No, I will not. The general logic, नहीं ये यहाँ पे नहीं होता है, खाना तो वहीं बिकता है, स्विगी भी बैनर से बेच रहा है, तो तुम भी बैनर से बेच लो, and all of that. But this is an example that this is what thinking out of the box is. Thinking out of the box doesn't look like aliens on earth.
Yes, yes.
It
And this
doesn't.
is also, Prachi, something that we always talk about. These personalities. वो मतलब they are a personality ना, तो वो कहीं पे भी present हो सकता है. वो किसी भी चीजों में. They can have an opinion on bosses. They can have an opinion of on work culture.
Yeah.
And
then
this is what it is.
And I think this is a great example of knowing your North Star. You
Yeah.
know where
Yes.
your North Star is. This is who I am. This is what I want to be known for. Having that confidence in yourself and sticking your gun to it, and like being there. That is what, for me, what you have shared right now. You were also hinting at it when you were talking about Suta, and I do have I want you to finish your presentation, and I'll discuss the Suta case also with you. And that's also where you were talking about authenticity. But I do want to take 30 seconds right now and talk about authenticity. In today's time, with artificial intelligence, with everything that is designed, everything is designed, your house is designed, your garments are designed, you are being styled by somebody, everybody is doing that. The value of authenticity, what are humans looking for? The fundamental human need of connection, belonging, right? And where do you, so you can hold Krishna, God forbid me, I'm talking about God, but you can hold them in that reverence. But do you feel that you belong to?
No.
Yeah. So how do you create that example of, I think, Sugar Cosmetics that you were showing, right? I could see the sense of belonging that I may have a personal view, whether it is my personal aesthetics, not aesthetic, I can talk a lot of hoity-toity around it, But the fact of authenticity. So I mean, right now, because we've broken that rhythm, I thought I'll bring this point about authenticity and what is authenticity. With the example on your screen, Zomato knows who they are.
Yes, absolutely. They
know
who they are. They know. And that's the reason people, acha hai, bura hai, whatever, it is there.
Yeah.
If you know who you are, people will connect to you.
Yes. So it cannot begin. I know there are some students here who are probably working on our logo design project, some students who are here who are working on a social media carousel post. I know those modules are on right now. There are some of them who are from UX who are designing an e-commerce platform right now. I know all these projects are on. And we think, अच्छा ये सुंदर logo बना दें, ये बना दें, वो बना दें. हाँ, मतलब सब सुंदर ही है, and we can get a little philosophical about सुंदर. But who are you? कौन हो तुम? पहले वो पहचान, like, the brand needs to know who I am.
Who I am.
And then build everything around it, right? And as communication designers, I'm using the broad term of communication,
Mhm.
whether you are a graphic designer, UX designer,
Designer.
your designs are being used to communicate with the end user. That is why you are a communication
Yep.
designer, right?
Yes, yes.
Please nudge your clients. Not, you won't get to work with a Zomato all the time, but
Mm.
be an advocate. Be an advocate of design, and you have been hired by your client to deliver, quality for them. Nudge them, help them articulate who they are.
Yes.
If they don't know who they are, help them articulate that. And that is where
As a communication designer or a brand manager or a brand architect or something like that, the goal is to identify those places, those concepts, those stories that maybe as a creator or the founder, whoever it is, have missed. So created, like it happens with a lot of designers. They have created a beautiful product, but they don't know how to tell their story. This is the gap where a communication person comes in. He understands this is a beautiful creation. He acknowledges that there's this whatever work that has gone behind it. He understands what the consumer wants or is looking for, and he brings them together. And on social media and on social media communities, it's also about maybe someone else who's done. So if there is a pitchway work that has happened, and there is another performer who always dances with the pitchway behind, I'm just cooking up stories. But then as a brand communication designer, it is my job to bring those two together.
Absolutely.
To complement, because we belong to the same family, we belong to the same tribe.
So what you're describing to me, and if I can put it in very, very crass terms, is playing the role of a matchmaker.
Yes, marrying. Yes, absolutely. You just took that word.
This is who you are. This is what you offer. These are the people who want this. I am helping you realize that ye raha, tum jo khoj rahe ho wo yahan hai. And Asha, if I may say, because I've seen the IIAD journey very close, and your journey, I think that's what you helped do for IIAD. You recognized, and I know that in IIAD at least that's what happened. Not in AND, because in IIAD we discovered our identity. We kept creating, we kept evolving. Then we sat down after being in existence for a few years to question ourselves कि हम हैं कौन? Who are we? Of course we had a vision when we started off, but finally when we evolved to this, who am I? So, and then I think you understood that, and then you have been able to communicate that with your very, very capable team. I know that it's not just you.
It's not a one person's job.
Yeah, it is that. And that's what I'm trying to, right now tell our students, that please do that. I know somebody put, when I put this in the chat, that a lot of Indian brands don't know their own personality. It's our job to help them realize it, articulate it.
Like very rightfully Prachi put for that evolution. A brand always evolves. It will not start with this entire concept. That should also not happen, that I start with a high ground, that I am so and so and this and this. It evolves with the people that you interact with, your consumers. So brand is not just about logos and the brand guidelines and the color palette. It is about how you interact with people. What is the product? What is the service? If someone calls the brand, how is that you respond? Everything put together, how a consumer experiences my brand. I was also able to understand it or build upon why IIAD, because IIAD was already a thriving community. There were people who related to it, who fell in love with the idea of IIAD. There was already a good 4-5 years of alumni pool. There was a good, extremely rich faculty pool who had lived with that concept, thrived with that concept, evolved with the concept of IIAD. And all of them put together is what IIAD is. And that's what is that constant endeavor that we try to put forward.
That's true,
and that is true for any brand. That is what that is true.
Zomato did not जिस दिन पैदा हुआ Zomato ऐसा नहीं था.
नहीं हो सकता.
So brands are like people, I feel. You know, you
Yes.
also discover your identity in
Yes.
your and you keep it. You as an individual are
Evolving.
evolving, and you reach a certain, you know, a certain stage in your life when you are able to say that this is who I am. With brands also that happens. And as communication designers, brand communicators, our job is to understand where is the brand, help them articulate,
Help them
help them
reach that
articulate
place.
and travel with them as they evolve,
Yes, yes.
become their mirrors, see कि अच्छा ये अब आप ऐसे evolve हो गए हो. And you also have what are your tools? Your tools are the visual design, your tools are an understanding of the platform. You are aware, like I'm not a social media specialist at all, but Asha, I'm sure, has to look at that what is happening on social media for her to realize that okay, a trend, a meta trend is emerging, then a trend within my domain is emerging, then, and she is tapping into those trends but staying true
To the brand.
to
You
the
just
brand.
don't follow any trend. It has to also relate to the brand. It has to feel my own. Anyone doing anything is not something that I'll bring into my tribe.
Absolutely. But let's continue. I'm sure you
Yes,
have a lot
we
of
have
interesting slides. ये हमारा
yes.
Q&A. Sorry, Shubhangi. This is what happens when you involve me in a webinar. I jump in and I do this. But Asha, please continue. I'm sure there are some very interesting other things for you to share.
Okay, but this is, yes, this is another example of the same, not same, but my personal experience of how storytelling or how authenticity that we are talking about. And I shared that I rarely do anything on my social media. This is one, I was really moved by their marketing, or if we call it marketing. And I wrote a post, but we can go to their page. This is a brand called Juicy Chemistry. It sells uh, uh, beauty and makeup products. Their website is not very user friendly in the sense it's not absolutely perfect. Everything does not follow seamlessly, but I'm just sharing it as an example. What happened is I started seeing their lipstick whatever on my social feed as a part of their marketing campaign. It was an ad, I'll presume. It was an ad, but the ad was not that you have these cakes of colors of lipstick and you have a very a nice ad jingle happening. What was there was this woman who's just talking about these are my 3 favorite lipsticks, tamarind, this, and she applies all of them. I mean, not in any sort of a studio lighting. She's just standing in her balcony and applying the lipsticks and shows. And the lipsticks really, the colors were nice. And a brown skin person, somehow I thought that she matched, the skin color matched with my skin. The application, and you could see the pores, you could see all the nice little age marks on her face. But then it felt relatable when immediately I saw it, and I felt for felt for a while. Yeah, I think whatever she's showing, that is how it's gonna look. It's very close to what it will look, and it's not been amplified. It's not been glorified in any form. I bought those lipsticks. So it very rarely some ads are able to nudge, and especially marketers, to nudge you into buying something. This was an instant, because we instantly know, am I being roped into a marketing gimmick? So we don't usually buy. I bought that, and the colors turned out really what were expected. The product was nice, though their website was not really great, but the product smashed what they were showing. Next, I ordered. My sister wanted to order, and she is a fairer complexion. She's not my color. Then what I did is I went to their page. I looked for someone who matched the skin tone of my sister, who had a fairer complexion, and then she was also maybe showcasing 2 or 3 lipstick colors that she likes, and I bought those 3 for my sister, and they matched perfectly for her skin type. So you don't have to, the entire story, that entire marketing, ad jingles, that world does not exist anymore. It is about, I think I've shared on my post that it's about sharing, it's sharing your story or your experience over a coffee with your friend. It was like, yeah, my friend bought something and she's telling me, I bought this. This is really nice. It's really working. She's laga ke bhi dikha rahi hai. And हाँ ठीक है. This is the sort of conversation a brand wants to build with their consumers. The Juicy Chemistry, I'm sure, has a long way to go in terms of their website and other things. But in a very, very, they were able to catch the narrative, understand the consumer, and do the right thing. Shubhangi, we can move to the next slide. Piche. I think we got piche tha kya kuch? Value generation. So, like authenticity, community building, storytelling, value generation is also an very, very, very important pillar of social media. So, what am I giving? Like, we're looking at makeup tutorial videos. What am I adding to the society? What is my community impact? That is what builds a brand. What am I giving my consumers? What value am I adding to their lives through my messaging, through my videos? And yeah, I think I've said it ahead, but I'll also say it. So, for example, this sort of a masterclass is a classic example of value generation by a brand, which is open for all, which is adding to the brand value, giving information, bringing the idea and the concept of knowledge sharing to life. So something like this. And this is a classic example of how you generate value for a brand. But of course, like we're talking about YouTube, there are these so many tutorial videos. There are recipe books. There are plantation, kitchen gardens, and sketching techniques. Again, how do you marry your value generation to your brand? We move to the next slide. This is an example of evolution from IIAD. So yeah, yes, Shubhangi, click. So this is a very old post that IIAD was doing. We can switch off the audio for this, Shubhangi. Thank you. So that IIAD had done, I think, a very long time back, and it is a value generation post. It is giving you tips and tricks on how on a Photoshop or some tools, right? And it had done it did fairly well for that. I mean, for the number of followers at that point of time that IIAD had, it had 121 likes. It was doing well. But what I felt was, as a brand, IIAD talks about design philosophies. We very openly we very openly say that design is not about tools you learn, but it is the thinking that we are providing. It's not the tools. We're not going to teach you the tools. So you go for a design solution and tools, तो आप उसके हिसाब से जिस problem को solve करने के लिए निकले हो, you'll pick up those tools. So next one, and it is one of our one of our successful campaigns that we've done. We are running. A lot of it is in pipeline, but whatever we've done, we've received huge responses. Everyone's reacting. So the next phase, the evolution towards it, marrying it, are the faculty insights that we are doing. So I'm not telling you the tools. This faceless IIAD page is not telling you the tools. But what we have are these seasoned academicians with years and years of knowledge, design. So we do these faculty insights. Shubhangi, we can click on the next video where Lovely is just talking about couple of platforms, and you can see the number of impressions. It's already 2015 53
Cringe.
likes.
Just look at the animation from 90s and 2000. So to stay updated on 3D animation, these are the top 3 softwares. Number 1, Maya. Maya is widely regarded as the best 3D animation software in the market. It has been used to create some of the biggest blockbuster films, including Harry Potter, South Park, and numerous animation shows. And do not forget, Maya is equally good as both 2D and 3D animation. Number 2, Blender, probably the most well-known 3D animation software out there. Blender has high-quality tools.
We get the idea, right? Though I just wanted to do
I want to interrupt again and do a proud moment here for everybody to know. Do you know that Lavleesh was an and learner from our first?
Yes.
So Lavleesh is a seasoned software person who had been teaching software. But because he teaches in a design school, he wanted to upskill himself in design. And I have worked with Lavleesh at IIAD also. And then he had took the bold step of learning design with And Academy. And he's the one who tells me, and I'm so proud, so very proud. And thank you, Asha, for including Lavleesh in the faculty video.
While adding Prachi, I had not thought of it. We included this because it's a very well-performing video, and to basically
I know exactly.
Draw the comparison.
I know exactly. I know, that is why I said that, I know that you did not think of this, but what I'm saying is that thank you for including him in your IIAD video list also, because this is a great example of what you were talking about, so bringing a software trainer to talk about content is a great strategy. The difference that you spoke about, I completely understand, but I can't resist making this proud moment that there on IIAD, one of their best performing videos is by one of our alumni. Yeah, but please carry on.
Yes, we can move ahead. So I made this point. Influencers, yes. I think I've already talked about how you marry an influencer, how you choose an influencer. It's not about their numbers. It's about if we are the same family or not, if we are the same tribe or not. Okay, I've just included this image because Komal Pandey is something that no one can not see. Of course, Lenskart and Piyush Bansal from Lenskart also I have already spoken. What I want you guys to look at is the next link, the TaskRabbit one. Shubhangi, can you open that TaskRabbit video?
He's like, where's your TV? To which I'd respond, I don't have one. But I finally caved and bought a frame TV with a beautiful frame, and I had a very specific vision for it. So I got a wall arm mount, thanks to some of you, and found a highly skilled tasker via TaskRabbit who took one look at my TV and said, this is not gonna work. But he had a plan. So I went and got a piece of wood cut to the perfect size, and then I spray painted the arm white because I'm a freak. But it turns out it wasn't even strong enough, so I got another mount, and it worked. So its resting position is against the wall, and I can layer more art in front of it if I want to. And then I just pull it out and push it up for the perfect viewing height. And also I just love the way it looks in front of my shelves. This execution was a 10 out of 10, and I am so happy I went through TaskRabbit and found Michael. When people come over for the first time, they're always like,
yes. So this, I believe, is a classic example of how you're not trying to push your product. But because she's not trying to sell. No, I mean, you 5 seconds in the video, 10 seconds in the video, you do not realize what the video is about. It's about her experience of how she wants to install a TV in her Art Deco-ish interiors, and she does not want the black box to take away from her home experience, and very beautifully weaves in the TaskRabbit bit. So the moment you realize that is an ad, you run away. But here you want to still have a look at it, even if you realize that maybe something this has to do with TaskRabbit, but you still stay on the video to see what finally happens. How does that TV thing look with a frame in her living room? She's an influencer. She's an influencer who does home videos. How she has designed her space, how she interacts with her space, how she arranges her space. And this must have been a collaboration with the Task Rabbit. She has a huge following, but the way she chooses to represent that collaboration, not just being Task Rabbit is a phenomenal service. They are very good. This that it is a story that she says. It is an experience that she. So influencer marketing as well. We look at experience sharing. We should as a brand, we should look at people who will share their experience, authentic experiences to an extent on their platforms or anywhere. I think I've spoken about the viral content bit as well. So yes, we may or may not go viral, but we are always prepping to go viral so that if some video goes viral, the person coming back to my page is not disappointed in me. As brand communication strategists, communication designers, brand managers, this is what we do. This is what we. So anyone who's coming back to my page is not disappointed of what they have. It should be as advertised. What I've seen should be what I walk into when I come to my page. Again, just a little bit of. So on Instagram, we get coming to Instagram. Instagram Reels are for your organic followers. They organic consumers. So they may be following you. They may not be following you. You cannot assume that they know about you. But the content should be interesting. The content should interest them. It should not. If I start with an intro and end with an intro, we need to understand our patterns of social media surfing or our patterns of how we interact with the social media. The moment you realize an ad when you're scrolling through your reels, everyone scrolling through their reels or while you're traveling, you don't stop at an ad, you don't pause at an ad unless and until you're actively looking for that particular product. It has to weave into my organic feed. It has to weave. It has to, and that's the reason brands need to maybe break away from having an intro, having an outro. So at IIAD also we still do outros, but yes, and that's for the reason you see the logos evolving on social media, brand logos changing colors at times, making the brand's positioning fluid and evolution more evolving. Next.
This is not clickable, Asha.
It's not clickable. It's just an image screenshot. I think there's no one more viral than Urfi Javed.
Yeah. I don't have access to this video.
Okay. Let me just. Yeah. I think we have anyways come to the conclusion of this presentation. This is the last slide.
I think it's all right. It's all right if we.
And anyways, it's just.
I think I have access now.
Do you have access to it? No.
No. No, I don't have access to it. That's all right. If you want to share your screen and then maybe show us this video, then you can.
That was actually, it's not that important. It's just a concluding slide with. I'll just hold on a second. I will.
And in the meanwhile, I can see there are a couple of questions for
Yes,
Asha.
we can. It is.
You can use while we figure out the accessibility issue. You're welcome to put in your questions and comments and thoughts in the chat section, in the Q&A section, and Shubhangi will then help us navigate through them. I have loads of questions, but I'll try and actually I have discussion points.
Shubhangi, which mail ID is it? Or I'll wait just a second. I'll just anyone with the link.
Shubhangi Mishra at And Academy.
It should work now. There's nothing. It's just a screen recording of IIAD's graphic design work in progress. But basically that was a closing statement towards brand building and brand design and how all these communication tools and what is the role of a brand builder. But throughout the presentation we have been talking about it, what a brand building, what is brand building, what communication designer does, what a communication designer brings to the brand, what is our role as a communication designer towards brand, where are we, what is the brand image, personality, and how we are taking forward, how we aid in building that brand, in building that brand image, in building that brand personality. It's not just about logos, it's not just about color palettes, it's not just brand manuals. It's a lot more, it's a lot more human, it's a lot more real connections. It is a lot more about the personality, and if I feel comfortable with that personality or I like that personality or not. And it's always, I mean, it's a work in progress, and then how people perceive us as a brand. I might think I'm a super niche, super luxury brand, but is my consumer thinking so? And that is what a brand communicator does, marries the consumer's expectations to the brand's image, so that probably together we are at the same page.
Wonderful.
Asha,
Thank
can
you for your
extend-
presentation, Asha.
Shumangi, yeah.
Yes. Were you saying something, Asha?
No, I thought you were saying something.
Yes, I was saying thank you for your wonderful presentation. We already have some questions rolling in, I can see. But we are running a little short on time. It's already 8:46. So whoever's around, I request you to please put in your questions in the Q&A box so that we can answer them systematically. Yeah, so beginning with the Q&A. Somebody is asking, what should we place first as an influencer? The constant updates we want to share, which may not be planned deeply. So not even look at systematic planning or just planned content, even if it's not coming up constantly.
Okay. Is it about just influencer planning, or is it about content planning?
I think the question is about, Asha, if I am an influencer, then what should be my strategy
Should I
towards
go
my...
very organic with a non-planned sort of feed, which is like more intimate and personal, or should I go with like calendarized?
Oh, this is opening a can of worms now.
Yes. And at the very beginning of the presentation, I said I am not an influencer, and we are not touching that today. But again, as an influencer, I think it's about authenticity and a lot of hard work. You will find your niche. I'm sure. For a brand, we are crafting a personality, but for a person, the personality is always there. You just need to be authentic.
Yeah.
And
Actually, I have a, and you can choose to not answer this question because I know it's a tricky. Should you aspire to be an influencer, or do you just become an influencer? You don't try to become an influencer, you become an influencer.
You become an influencer. I think so. It's about, I like something, I love something, I like sharing. I want to talk about it. I want to share about it. I think to aspire to be influencer is a little tricky. It does not really
not a career path, or can it be
not a career path. It is not a career path. It is about I probably like these things and I want to tell my friends about it.
But is it not?
I'm good at something and I want to talk about it.
It is very probably now becoming a career choice as well.
It is. Maybe I'm too old to not buy into it.
Yeah.
But digital presence, yes, of course. In today's day and age, everyone needs to have a digital presence. Should have a digital presence. It is your digital portfolio. So, and again, it need not be extremely curated and crafted, because social media is about authenticity. It's always addressing questions head on. It has to be straightforward. It has to come from a place of truth. It cannot, it should not be fabricated. If
But I
only
just
if
want to sort of bring the conversation back to the theme
brands.
of today, because I, like Asha has said, that nor was influencer part of, you know, today's this thing. It was not our focus area. Let's bring some questions about social media as a brand communication platform.
Medium.
And maybe we will bring, so that's another note for you and me, Shubhangi, to bring somebody who can talk about how to be an influencer, or how to use influencer marketing in another session. But let's bring the focus back today to today's topic.
So Kritika has another question. She's saying that the examples mentioned in the slide have worked so far. The candid videos, the relatable content, but what's the future? Wouldn't it get boring and a little repetitive and maybe cringe after some time, with the same ideas being fed to us over and over again?
Okay. I think people and persons and authenticity does not get boring. आप इतने लोगों से मिल लो, all human beings, these so many millions and billions of us on the planet, you still find them interesting. There's always a new story. There's always अच्छा लगता है, even if you know कि वो क्या करता है, फिर भी उसकी कहानी सुनने में अच्छा लगता है. And वही है, very recently, I mean, I think yesterday I saw someone, there's this truck driver who is a YouTube blogger, and on his YouTube, I'm forgetting his name, but on his YouTube, he does these वो जहाँ पे भी ट्रक लेकर के खड़ा करता है, and then he does cooking videos. And I had seen this chap some time back as well. He just organically was on my feed, and yesterday I just got to know he's become so big that he's now bought a house. And truck driver baap beta, they do their everyday work or traveling the entire country on their truck and cooking something. So there are just way too many stories for us to get bored. There are way too many people. हर खाना हर कोई बना रहा है, लेकिन वो तो एक अलग बना रहा है.
I think
Asha, if I may, sorry, Shubhangi, go ahead. No, please go.
I just wanted to say that always just like repackaging that story also somehow works. For example, if you look at films also, we have seen those set narratives of, you know, say like a victory of good over evil, or like like a forbidden love coming together. We've just packaged the same stories in different ways, and then the story still works. So the essence, the core of the story remains the same, but we've packaged it differently in our own unique way. So I think that packaging is where we sort of pull it all together when we are talking about brands or influencers. Telling that same story in your own sort of peculiar way is something that will not get boring or say cringe.
And plus, just get the technical way to it. Social media is what, 15 years old? But it still follows the same communication strategies. It's still, so I was not taught social media in my learning in my college, but if I understand, it's about connections, it's about understanding communication. Like, क्या दिख रहा है, क्या पढ़ पा रहे हो आप, किस डायरेक्शन में आपकी आंख जा रही है, that you're able to craft धनिया message. It's very basic. So tools might change, but
I think it is
the basic
format.
fundamentals still,
And
we evolve with the tools.
I think the format. So if I read Kritika's question, okay, candid video is a format, but what is really working is authenticity. And the sense of belonging. Now, the way you create that sense of belonging, whether it is through candid video or BTS or
something else in the future that is not even here.
Yeah, there are different formats. So yes, you will get tired of a format, and in the process of evolution, that will change. And that is how those advertisements to, you know, what Asha showed us right at the beginning at 7:30 to what we are doing now, that has changed. But if you actually break it down, in fact, you know, Asha, I was like, I don't know if you're aware of this, the whole idea of rhetorics, you know, which is proposed by Plato. Yeah, Plato, right? It is still the
Same principles.
It is the same principle, and I can look at any latest social media post to any advertisements, TV ad in the 80s to anything. It still follows those three principles of ethos, pathos, logos, right? So I don't think that is changing. Of course, the socio-cultural environment, the technology is changing. And yes, the formats are changing. Influencers were always there. वो पहले influencers
Celebrity
were
होते थे.
Cleopatra. Cleopatra was what? Influencer only, na?
But the royals, then you have these Hollywoods,
Yeah,
नाटक वाले होते होंगे, फिर then we have the Hollywoods and the Bollywoods.
So it is just that, you know, I think the idea is the same. वो like the clothes of the emperor, like, you know, keep changing, but inside it remains the same.
It remains the same, the basic principles.
But I do want to, Shubhangi, I know there are no more questions and we are out of this thing, but for everybody's, and whoever wants to leave can leave. But I just wanted to, you know, talk one little bit about, because you mentioned Suta. I often wonder, and I'm a proud owner of a couple of Suta saris, and I know that they brought a certain kind of sari back, also helped promote sari as a office wear,
everyday wear, office
for
wear,
casual wear, all of that. I often have wondered, and this is my ignorance because I'm not so much social media, you know, this thing. I've often wondered if Suta is a product success story which has made its social media strategy shine, or is it their communication strategy
that made the product?
And you and I can carry this conversation outside of today's webinar also. But I wanted to bring this in just to set the context for our learners, because I have often seen brand strategists confuse themselves with product strategists or business strategists. Of course, for the business to work, the brand strategy and product strategy has to come together.
Work together.
And if I talk, and my role and Shubhangi's role probably has to come together that. But Shubhangi doesn't think product and I don't think brand. I mean, I have to think, be aware, be aware of product, right? So, but yeah, coming back to the question I asked, what do you think, Asha?
I personally think it is their again, what were the two options?
The option was it a product success which makes us feel that the social media strategy or the communication strategy is wonderful, or the vice versa?
I think it is, I'm not even social media strategy, but I think it is their, social media, we can call it their social media strategy. That is what has made the product success. And I've been studying in the sense I've known them for a long time. I've seen Suta when they did not have their own website. They were just selling through multi-brand outlets. And I've bought Suta at that point of time as well.
Same here.
And Sujata, the girl, she was the one who was modeling. So whenever you used to look for saris, there will be Sujata everywhere on all multiple websites. So I don't remember if it was Myntra or not, but a number of places like this, all your multi-brand outlets online. And eventually when they came to social media, wherever, Instagram first, it is just their personality that has. Of course, I'm sure they're pretty good strategists and pretty good business women as well. Yeah. But the personality just resonated with today's women.
I think that was my guess as well, that it is their communication strategy. So not just this. I think it's their communication strategy which pushed their product and made a trend out of a product itself. It's brought a change, a fashion shift. Actually,
shift in the mindset of where you wear sari.
Yeah. I mean, I have always worn, I mean, if you know me, I've always worn loads and loads of saris, but the way it is now looked at, and earlier how my Suta sari used to be scowled upon, कि अरे ये क्या पहन लिया और ये पहन के तुम बाहर जा रहे हो, and you know,
And now everyone knows what Suta is. I mean, in my circle, I think everyone owns at least one Suta sari.
Yes.
I haven't met who has not heard of Suta. I've not met a woman who's not heard of Suta.
Absolutely. And it's in fact the first sari that a girl would buy.
Yes.
If I look at the younger generation, it's one of the first saris that a girl is going to buy. So that's the great power
So they
of
put their communication strategy is what made Suta what Suta is today. Their storytelling, the way they are telling their story and the communication. They did not just do these flamboyant shoots. She was walking on the streets. She was wearing a sari. She was in an office. That is what made Suta Suta. And pehan sakte hain.
And that is what made sari from an occasional wear, brought it back to a daily wear thing. Last question to close this, and if there are still students interested. So as brand communicators, or graphic designers or whatever, what should be our goal when we work on social media content? Should it be followers? Should it be conversion? Should it be sale? What should be our goal? What should we keep as our, what should success look like?
Community. It should be, I mean, I can have any number of followers, but if there are no conversations on my page, if the community is not thriving, I'm not saying only my consumer, my peers also give me a nudge, yeah, badhiya kiya tumne, or yes, this suits you, and I'm also doing that for them. And together, it's a community. We grow together. I can have these many number of followers, but I can buy these many number of followers. But if my engagement and that does not speak volume, it will become a ghost town.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's a good note. So engagement and interaction, and therefore, I mean, these are the outcomes or whatever, but your goal is to build community. Yeah. So and that will happen. Community only happens with belongingness and with a sense of belongingness, and at the root of it is relatability and therefore authenticity. And that is why I think, Asha, I love talking to you, because in today's time, I find very, very few people who are ready to acknowledge that it is as basic as being authentic, and you can't so somebody was also talking about something, किसी ने point किया था वो personality या कुछ. It's not about this is who I want to be, or this is who I think I am, or this is how I want others to perceive me. It begins with discovering who I am.
And and it's a discovery.
And embracing that reality that this is who I am, with all my dents and my chips and the glory. Everything.
And 6 months back, I would have been a different version of me, and today I'm a different version. And that entire journey, and taking my entire tribe with my journey, taking my entire tribe on the journey.
Yes, absolutely.
That is what we don't.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that. And that's why, I whenever I send you a little appreciation of that, okay, I saw this post and I think
they are so much appreciated. It instantly makes me so happy, Prachi. I can't convey those feelings on WhatsApp.
I also find it, because I think I do understand what that, I mean, when you've been part of a brand and you build it up, you know what that brand is. And when I see a post, I'm not appreciating the visual quality or this or that. I'm appreciating that, oh, this, ye pulse pakda. ये पकड़ा, ये हम हैं, ये बोला. So that is where your sense of belonging
वही है. कोशिश हम वही करते रहते हैं for every brand curator or a brand communication. That is the कोशिश. कभी होता है, कभी नहीं होता है, लेकिन that is also a part of it.
Yes.
As a human being, you will not talk wisdom all the time. This is also my personality. This is also my personality.
Absolutely. This was absolutely wonderful, Asha. I had a long day and not a very pleasant day, but the evening was very pleasant. And thank you, Shubhangi, for putting this together and ensuring that I join.
Thank you, Prachi, so much for joining in. It was really wonderful catching up with you here.
I think catch you for more, Asha. वो Zomato वाला strategy breakdown मैं कराने वाली हूँ. It's going to come up soon. So in one of our, and then it'll be another masterclass, but maybe not a kaleidoscope. It will probably be a masterclass for just and learners. And of course, Shubhangi will get to be a part of it as well. So thank you so much, both Asha and Shubhangi for.
Thank you, thank you so much, Prachi. Thank you, Shubhangi, so much for having me here. I hope
Yeah,
we've been able to add value.
Yeah, I hope it has been, value generation for us.
Yes, the value generation. Yes. We have been able to address that.
Okay, thank you and good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, we'll see you soon in another Kaleidoscope session with another very fun topic of discussion. So until then, bye-bye and good night. We'll see you soon.